Yo, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video here on the Funko Fiend YouTube channel. In today's video, we're gonna be doing something kind of crazy. We're gonna see how much my entire collection of Funko Pops is actually worth. I know the Funko app isn't always the most accurate, but that's what we're gonna be using today. Because I've been recently wanting to make a list on my phone to keep track of all the Funko Pops I actually have, because I have stopped keeping track. So I'm gonna go in the Funko app on my phone, shelf by shelf, add them all into the list, and then see how much each shelf is worth. We're also kind of gonna see how many Funko Pops I actually have in my collection, because I always say like around 300 to 400. But today we might find out the actual number. No more yapping, let's get into it because we have a lot of Funko Pops to count. Alright, so starting with these 4 Funko Pop like movie moments and stuff. Here's what the Funko app says each of these 4 is worth. So just these 4 alone is $70 combined. Alright, so here's my first of the 2 Stranger Things Funko Pop shells that I have. Here's what all of them are worth on the Funko app. Also, I am either rounding up or down to the nearest dollar because I don't want to worry about all the cents and stuff. But honestly, the Vecna on here is the most surprising, like $60. Like, I am so surprised. But this shelf in total is worth $247. So all in total, we are at $317 so far. All right, so this is my second Stranger Things Funko Pop shelf. Here's what the Funko app says all these are worth. In total, it's $237, which is just $10 less than my other Funko shelf. And all in total now, with all of these, we are at $555, which is actually crazy. All right, next up is my Fantastic Four Funko Pop shelf. Here's what all the prices are according to the Funko app. The shelf in total is worth $295, which puts our total at $850 so far. All right, so next up is my Doctor Strange shelf, and I just added all of them into the Funko app, but for some reason, I can't find this chase in the app, so I just am gonna double it and make it 2. What I mean by that is here's all the prices of the Funko Pops. This one is worth $15, so I'm just gonna say this one's also worth $15. In total, this shelf is worth $184, so that puts us already over $1,000, which is crazy. All right, next up, I just scanned in all my Funko Pops on my WandaVision Funko Pop display, even including the Bitty Pops. So here's what the prices are on the Funko app for all of them. For the Bitty Pops, I was seeing varying prices, so I'm just saying they're 15 each, so 15 times 4. But all in total, this shelf is worth an even $200. So overall, in total, we are sitting a little bit over $1,200. All right, so this bottom shelf down here is a Daredevil / Hulk Funko display. Here's what the Funko app said each of these Funko Pops is worth. Probably should have mentioned it earlier, but Funko does it based off like the eBay trending value for each of the Funko Pops. This shelf was worth like $109 in total, so our grand total so far is like $1,400, which is actually insane because we've only done this white Billy bookcase. And we obviously have so many more Funko Pops to go, so literally just this fourth of my collection is worth $1,400, so got a lot more to count. Just those 9 big Funko Pops up top on those shelves is worth $164 in total. Here's what they all are separately, but now our grand total's at like what, $1,600 I think. All right, up top here is my Venom / Symbiote Funko shelf. Here's what all the prices are listed on the Funko app for these Funkos. And like I was saying earlier, the Funko app isn't always that accurate. It's saying that Symbiote suit Spider-Man in the bottom right corner is $60, or I guess like $55, but I just got that at GameStop for $15, so unless people are actually reselling it for $55, like there's no way that's accurate. All right, instead of going from here and down to my Spider-Man shelf, we're actually gonna go right to my Venom shelf, the other Symbiote shelf that I have. Here's what all the prices are on the Funko app, and honestly, so far throughout this video, I feel like it's been somewhat accurate. But this shelf is just like all over the place. Like some are worth $50, some are only $6, but in total, it's $246 on the shelf, which now puts our grand total over the 2,000 mark, which is actually insane. All right, next up, we have the first of my 2 Spider-Man Funko Pop shelves. Here's what all the prices are of these Funko Pops. In total, it's like $175, so our grand total is sitting at $2,300. All right, so this is my second Spider-Man Funko Pop shelf. Here's all the prices for them. All in total, the shelf is worth $252, so our grand total is now at like $2,600. Below that is my X-Men Funko Pop shelf. Here's all the prices for them in the Funko app. All in total, the shelf is worth $260, so just a little bit more than my other Spidey shelf. And now that makes our total pretty close to $3,000. All right, so for my Captain America Funko Pop display, the app is definitely wrong because here's what the prices are for all of them. And it's saying this Captain America with prototype shield and also this 5-pack, they're both worth $184, which is definitely wrong. So like in terms of the total price of the collection, it's definitely going to be wrong. But if we count both of those at $184, this whole shelf is worth like $495 total, which is crazy. So we're definitely over the 3,000 mark now. Also, like I know I could try and like find something at a different price and scan it in, but I want to actually keep every single item in the list because like I want to actually be able to keep track of every single item I have. Underneath my Captain America Funko Pop display, we have this little Funko soda display. As you can see, there are 8 Funko sodas and also the Civil War 2-pack. Here's all the prices for them according to the Funko app. Even though there are only 9 things, all in total, it's $167. Now our grand total is sitting at a little over $3,500. All right, real quick before we go down to this shelf, we're actually gonna go right over here to my other Funko soda display. This one only has 6 Funko sodas, but also the Civil War 4-pack. Here's the prices of all of them according to the Funko app. And all in total, this Funko shelf is still worth $110. The Moon Knight is literally half of it because it's the chase, so that one's worth like 50 out of the 110. But now we're at like $3,600. All right, but now we can take a look at my Guardians of the Galaxy Funko Pop display. Here's the individual prices for them in the Funko app. All in total, I think this shelf was worth like $240, so we're almost at the 4,000 mark, which is ridiculous. All right, next up, we got one of my favorite Funko Pop shelves in my whole display. We have one of my Spider-Man No Way Home shelves. Here's all the individual prices for all these Funkos. And like, I knew this shelf was gonna be kind of expensive because obviously all the Build-A-Scene Funko Pops cost a lot, but this MJ is listed as $44, which I don't think is accurate, but if we go to this whole shelf in total, it's worth $293, which now officially puts us over the $4,000 mark, which is so crazy. Below that one though, we have my second Spider-Man No Way Home shelf. I love this one too. But here's all the individual prices according to the Funko app. And all in total, this shelf was worth $273, so just $20 less than my other Spider-Man No Way Home shelf. And now all in total, we're at like $4,400. Next up, we have like my Infinity Saga shelf. Here are all the prices for it. In the front, we have the whole Art Series Infinity Saga set. I'm not sure what it looks like in the edit, but this Groot, Iron Man, Thanos, and Captain America all came in the Infinity War 4-pack together. So all 4 of those in the 4-pack is like around $17 right now. So they're not 17 each, just all 4 of those is 17. But all in total, the shelf is worth like $124. So now at $4,500. Next up is my Iron Man Funko Pop display. And here's all the individual prices according to the Funko app. Some of them kind of surprised me, but all in total, this shelf is worth $243. And now we're getting pretty close to the $5,000 mark. All right, so this bottom shelf is a little bit random. It's my Ant-Man / Shang-Chi display. Here's all the individual prices according to the Funko app. And again, it's definitely wrong because this Kang, no way is $88. But we're just going to stick to it and go with the Funko app like this entire video. But God, that just proves the Funko app is so wrong sometimes. But if we count him as $88, this whole shelf is $227. So we're now officially over the $5,000 mark. Oh my God. Up top here, we have 3 different Funko Pops. All of them are like $11 and $12 each, so in total it's $34 getting added. But then below that, we have my Blacklight Funko shelf, which I really like, but here's all the individual prices according to the Funko app for them. All in total, this shelf is worth $162, so our total is at $5,200 now. Also, little update so far, we have 306 total Funko Pops added to the list. Next up, we have my Spider-Verse Funko Pop display, and here are all the individual prices for these Funko Pops according to the Funko app. All in total, this shelf is worth like $246, so we're very close to $5,500. All right, so for my Black Panther Funko Pop display, here are all the prices for them. And again, the Funko app has to be wrong. There is no way that Black Panther with Waterfall is actually $225, but we're gonna go with it. Because like I said, even though the prices aren't accurate in the app, I do like actually keeping track of the actual Funkos and like seeing the pictures of it. But if we count that as $225, this whole shelf is worth $416, so we're at like what, $5,800 I think? Oh my God, even though we're like getting towards the end, the Funko app is basically making this whole video pointless because here's all the prices for these Thor Funko Pops. And you're telling me all 3 of those Funko Pops, Hercules, Valkyrie, and Meek, are worth $184 each? Like there's actually no way. So the total is definitely not gonna be accurate at all. Cause like with those 3 Funkos all being $184 each, this shelf is almost like $700 in total. All right, next up is my Loki Funko Pop display, and here are all the individual prices according to the Funko app. This one does seem pretty accurate. In total, this shelf is worth like $201. So we're nearing $7,000 already, which is scary. This bottom shelf is a little bit random, but it's half my What If display and also half Mech Strike Monster Hunters. Here's all the individual prices for them. In total, this shelf is worth $144. So now we are definitely over $7,000, which is absolutely insane. Over here, I also have some comic covers, and I can't get them all in one shop, but here are the prices for these 5, and then these 4, and then the last 4. All in total, all the comic covers are worth $286. So now we're at what, like $7,400. Oh my God. All right, now this wall of Funko Pops is essentially the last thing we have to do because like some of them are trying to sell, but also some of them are technically still in my collection. So for now, we're gonna have to count them and add them to the collection. All right, so I don't know what this is gonna look like in the edit, but here's all the prices for all these Funko Pops. Sorry for the glare. I tried getting rid of it, but there's nothing I could do about it. The Mike Wazowski, like I know he is pretty expensive, but I don't think that Rainbow Deadpool is actually over $100. But like this entire video, we're just gonna go with the Funko app says. Also, that Maya Lopez only being $1 is pretty funny. But with that, we scanned in my entire Funko Pop collection into the Funko app. We have 433 total Funko Pops in my collection, and the total is $7,850. So we didn't get to the 8,000 mark, but that is still so crazy. All right, but yeah, like I've said multiple times in this video, I know that number isn't 100% accurate. Like obviously the Funko app isn't the most accurate. A lot of the Funkos were very skewed and obviously skewed the final result. But also those prices were for the Funko Pops in mint condition. You're actually trying to sell it, which mine are all in pretty good condition, but I'm honestly not trying to sell that many anymore. Like I sold most of the ones I was trying to get rid of on Whatnot. Like over on that wall that I have stacked, like I have a couple more I want to sell. But yeah, also the reason I'm wearing a different shirt than the intros because it literally took 2 days to record. It took a while trying to add up all the different prices of the Funko Pops and stuff. But now we know how much my collection is worth, I guess. Not really, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Funko content. And I'll see you guys next time.